Daredevil walks into a hospital. His arch nemesis Bullseye is lying in a bed, completely paralyzed from the neck down. Can't move, can't speak, can't even blink. And Daredevil pulls out a gun. He loads a single bullet into a .38 caliber revolver, spins the cylinder, and explains the rules. Russian roulette. They're going to take turns pointing this gun at their own heads and pulling the trigger. The lucky idiot lives. Except Bullseye can't move, so Daredevil will be pulling the trigger for both of them. This is a Daredevil issue, written and drawn by Frank Miller in 1983. And it might be the most psychologically disturbing single-issue Marvel has ever published. Not because of the violence, but because of why Matt Murdock is doing this. Because of a little boy named Chucky. And because this story asks a question that haunts every superhero comic ever made. When you punch criminals on television, what exactly are you teaching children? Before we get to that hospital room, we need to talk about Chucky. Matt Murdock meets him as a lawyer, not as Daredevil. Matt's partner Foggy convinces him to take a simple embezzlement case. The defendant is Hank Jurgens, and Matt goes to the Jurgens home for dinner. What he finds is deeply uncomfortable. Hank Jurgens is loud, domineering, and clearly guilty of the embezzlement he's accused of. He rants about citizens' boycott for morality while simultaneously being a criminal. His wife is submissive and apologetic. And their son Chucky? Chucky is obsessed with Daredevil, and not in a healthy way. Chucky watches a VHS tape of Daredevil fighting Bullseye over and over again. When his father demands he pass the rolls at dinner, Chucky spaces out completely. When asked what he's doing, he says he's not playing Daredevil. He says he is Daredevil, sometimes. His father calls him crazy. His mother apologizes, and Matt Murdock sits there, blind behind his red glasses, listening to this family fall apart. Matt can't leave it alone. He visits Chucky at school as Daredevil, takes the kids swinging across rooftops, and Chucky is ecstatic. He tells Daredevil that he's his hero because when somebody gets in Daredevil's way, he gives it to them. Nobody tells Daredevil what to do. He's free. Matt should have stopped right there. He should have gotten this kid professional help. Instead, he was charmed. He admits it later. He was thrilled to find himself admired. So thrilled he didn't look closely at why he was being admired. Here's where it goes wrong. Matt, as a lawyer, is questioning the plaintiff in Hank Jurgens' embezzlement case. Late at night, he spots Chucky hiding in the bushes. The kid followed him, and when Matt sees the plaintiff meeting secretly with Jurgens in Central Park, Chucky sees it too. Both men are guilty. The plaintiff was blackmailing Jurgens, and Jurgens pulls a gun threatening to kill him. Chucky watches his father threaten to murder someone. Matt switches to Daredevil, disarms Jurgens, beats him down in front of his son. At the time, it feels like justice. Chucky saw his father exposed as a violent criminal, and he saw his hero take him down. But that's not what Chucky processed. The trial bankrupts the Jurgens family. Matt pays for Chucky's therapy out of guilt. Months pass, and everyone thinks the trauma's faded. Then, on the day of his father's sentencing, a kid at school makes one cruel remark too many. Chucky snaps. He finds a gun, a .38 caliber revolver just like his father owned, and he shoots another child. The victim survives. Chucky survives. But Chucky stops talking entirely. He just watches that VHS tape of Daredevil fighting Bullseye over and over, muttering that Papa's bad. That if Papa's bad, he must be as well. In Chucky's fractured mind, the fight on that tape never ended. Daredevil and Bullseye kept battling forever. And somewhere in that loop, his father became the villain. He became the villain. And violence became the only language that made sense. This is why Daredevil is sitting in Bullseye's hospital room with a loaded gun. He's not there for revenge over Elektra. even though Bullseye killed the woman he loved. He's there because of Chucky. He needs to understand what he created, what violence actually teaches. And as he pulls that trigger over and over, clicking through empty chambers, he tells Bullseye the truth about his own father. Batlin Jack Murdoch was a second-rate boxer who threw fights for the mob. He made Matt promise never to fight, to become something respectable to escape. And one night, young Matt broke that promise. He got in a fight with bullies and came home proud. His father, drunk, grabbed him, screamed at him, and for one moment, Matt thought his father was going to hit him. He didn't. Jack Murdoch caught himself and apologized. But Matt spent that whole night on the Brooklyn Bridge thinking about right and wrong, about how even good fathers can do bad things, about how everyone needs rules. That's why Matt Murdoch became a lawyer. But it's also why he's sitting here now, gun in hand, wondering if he's any better than his father, any better than Hank Jurgens, wondering if punching criminals in a costume teaches children that justice means violence. Am I fighting violence? Matt asks Bullseye. Or am I teaching it? The gun is at Bullseye's head now, 6th chamber. This is it. If there's a bullet in this gun, Bullseye dies. And Matt monologues one final time. He describes the hatred he feels, how he can see that Bullseye is black and evil, how sweet it would be to end him. He pulls the trigger. Click. The gun was empty the whole time. Matt never loaded it. The final panel pulls back to show them both in that hospital room, tiny figures surrounded by darkness, and Matt says the only thing left to say, "Guess we're stuck with each other, Bullseye." Because that's the answer Frank Miller gives us. Heroes and villains don't end each other. They create each other. They're trapped in the same cycle that trapped Chucky, that trapped Jack Murdoch, that traps every father who teaches his son the wrong lessons. In this issue of Daredevil, 40 years later, it's still asking questions superhero comics don't want to answer.